I was working for the state of Wisconsin. One of my colleagues told me that there was some ginseng grown in Marathon County. So I said, hey, that's kind of interesting, because I thought of my mother right away. My mother had 14 kids. She had very poor health with a diabetic condition, arthritis, and many other things. I figured out, I said, I probably should find her something to see whether that would help her.
One day, or maybe after work or on a weekend, he drove up to Marathon County and knocked on some farmers' doors to ask them about ginseng. And he actually ended up buying 2 pounds of ginseng from one of the farmers here in central Wisconsin, sent it home to his mom, my grandmother, back in Taiwan.
I sent about 2 or 3 pounds home, and a year later my father wrote me, he said that your mother's problem has been eliminated and have been doing great.
And so that kind of started my dad's journey in terms of being a believer first in ginseng, and then eventually deciding to quit working for the state as a social worker.
Most of my friends say, hey, don't do that, that being a farmer, you know, all that. I said, well, I'm interested. Resigned from the state 6 months later and moved up here to start growing ginseng, 1976. When I started, there were only about 22 people growing ginseng here. And I have survived the last 50 years. That's a long history. You know, we have been the top growers for about last 25 years.
Ginseng has been grown here in central Wisconsin for over 100 years. Some of the earliest families that farmed it were actually located just west of here in the town of Hamburg. And so Marathon County has always been the hub of ginseng production in the US since the late 1800s, early 1900s, so for over 100 years.
The Fromm brothers are kind of one of these interesting standout stories where they get a little plot of land, of undeveloped land in Hamburg, Wisconsin. They become very good as ginseng farmers. They are such an important figure for this area because they kind of carried us and gave that experience for many other people to follow. And it's funny, is you can still like walk down the street in Edgar or Marathon, and you'll probably find people who will remember, you know, going out in the fields and picking ginseng in their youth if, you know, they didn't do it themselves as an adult. And a lot of that can be traced back to the Fromm brothers.
It's generational because it takes so long to get a crop, but also to learn how to grow it. It's a unique product. Very few farmers are growing it today. Today there's fewer than 100 of us left growing ginseng here in central Wisconsin. It's still the same seed genetics that have been carried on for over 100 years. So you can tell that this is cultivated ginseng based on how quickly it grows. A plant like this in the wild would take probably 40 to 50 years to grow to this size. But because it's grown under artificial shade in field settings where it's fertilized and taken care of, we can raise ginseng this large in 4 to 5 years. In our field settings, we never use the same land twice. We use virgin ginseng soil every time, meaning you can grow other crops afterwards. We have farmers who will plant corn or soybeans in rotation afterwards, and we will go into fields that have had other cash crops on them prior to ginseng. But once we plant ginseng in that field, we will never go back and plant ginseng again. There's a lot of chemicals that we can't spray on ginseng because it would kill the plant. So all of our gardens are weeded by hand. We pick all the seeds from our plants by hand. So there's a lot of manual labor still involved in this industry, and that's probably why there's just not as many people farming it, because it is so labor intensive. So all the machinery that you see behind me is actually custom made on site here for our wash process. No one really makes machinery for our industry because we're so small. This is a wash bin that you see behind me. It looks like an old dumpster because it was formerly a dumpster that we modified as a hopper to hold the ginseng. Being one of the larger farmers here in central Wisconsin, we probably have an advantage because, you know, myself, my father, our family, and a lot of our employees speak Mandarin. That's the language that most of our buyers and customers are purchasing in, and so we do our customer service, we do our sales, we do all of these things kind of bilingually. But then even here on the farm, you know, we speak Spanish, we speak, some of our employees speak Hmong or Laotian, you know, because it is a community of folks that it takes to grow this type of product, and it takes a lot of love and care. There's only 2 intersections of the 4590 that are on land. One is here in central Wisconsin, just west of here, and then the other one I believe is in Mongolia, in China. And so I think there's some people who feel that that has some sort of impact on the product that's grown in this area. This is the heart of ginseng country.
The fact is that 98% of the ginseng that is exported from the United States comes from Marathon County and maybe just a border a little bit outside of it, but in this small area, we are known as the capital of ginseng. We travel Asia and they know exactly where little Marathon County is on the map of the United States. We call it the gold standard. It's the premium ginseng. It's just proud to be a grower, and now I'm honored to represent the industry and represent the growers of Wisconsin and to take our message out to the world.
This crop today adds probably somewhere between $30 to $100 million into the local economy. As recently as 30 or 40 years ago, there were probably close to 1,000 ginseng farmers growing 2.5 million pounds a year. Today, there's fewer than 90 of us growing about 1 million pounds of dry ginseng a year.
The crazy thing about this product is that this is an international product that we're actually directly exporting to consumers overseas. It's being bought and traded and exchanged almost directly from buyer to seller. The buyers will oftentimes meet the farmers know where their product is going. When we're overseas and talking with customers, the ginseng farmers from this area are always very proud of the fact that we work and operate here in central Wisconsin.